Today on Mining Minutes, we have Tommy Humphreys, founder of CEO.ca. We're going to be talking about Goldcorp's bid for Osisko, some Colossus, and more coming up. And with me now is Tommy Humphreys. Tommy, thank you for joining me today.
It's good to see you again, Alex.
So let's start with some big news in the sector. On Monday, of course, it's Goldcorp's $2.6 billion hostile bid for Osisko Mining based in Montreal. Now, this one kind of took people by surprise. It's a huge bid, kind of came out of nowhere at the beginning of the year. We know that Goldcorp was looking at this project for a while, but all in all, very positive, it seems, for Quebec and Canada and the mining sector. What are your thoughts on this bid?
Well, it wasn't that generous of a bid from Goldcorp's perspective. The 15% premium, I think, is frankly just starting talks between the companies again. Obviously, Goldcorp's had an interest in Osisko going back to 2008 and has wanted the company since then. And so I expect that the merger will happen, the takeover will happen. It probably will be at a bit higher price, which is what the market is expecting now, with Osisko's share price above the takeover offer. So I think it's a very positive thing for the mining sector, and particularly on the more development stage and junior stage, because M&A has been seen as a pretty critical catalyst to get other things going. So Goldcorp, with arguably the strongest balance sheet, kicking things off, I think is it's a very positive for the sector, and hopefully Osisko shareholders can squeeze a little bit more out of them, and I think there's room there, and it should be a good deal for both sides.
Now let's stick with M&A, and a bit of a strange one here with Allied Nevada and China Goldstone. China Goldstone, of course, made an offer, or allegedly made an offer, or sort of made an offer for Allied Nevada, but it was rescinded. It was a mistake. It was a prank. We don't know what it was. It's a bit of a head scratcher for the industry here. How did you take it? What do you see from this?
Well, I was just waking up on the West Coast at 6 o'clock. And I got an email from you talking about it, and so you were actually the guy who tipped me off on it. And I quickly searched it. I saw Bloomberg had picked it up. So then you take for granted this China Goldstone Mining. It sounds like a legitimate Chinese company, but ultimately, I guess an hour or two later, the press release was rescinded, and Allied Nevada put out a press release of their own, calling into question the credibility of the offer. So I don't really know what happened. I think obviously it shined a light on Allied Nevada's share price, and I think Allied Nevada is still up 10% or so from the offers, from the bogus press release. So it's been a bit of a positive for the company, but I would really hate to be one of the arb playing funds who would have jumped in on this news expecting to play the arb between the takeover offer and the share price. So it was an unfortunate situation. I think I'd like to know a little bit more about this China Goldstone mine development, if it's real at all, who the source of the press release is, because it could be a pretty substantial fraud. But then again, there might be some merit to it. I really don't know, but it is just weird. And that's really all there is to say about it, I think.
Let's move along to Colossus now. This is a company that has been in the headlines quite a bit recently, negatively, of course. Is this what we're going to be expecting more and more in the junior mining sector right now? Companies like this that are really cash-strapped and having trouble with their assets?
Well, the Colossus story was a darling of the market. I was speaking with Nolan Watson, the Sandstorm CEO, a couple of days ago about it, and he's a creditor of Colossus now, and he mentioned a couple of things that he learned from it that I'll relay, and the one is that these mining projects always have cost overruns, not sometimes but always, and then the second thing, which is sort of painful to learn, which is like. These junior mining development companies, they're like a shark, and when they stop swimming, they're dead. And so now with Colossus, obviously, the resource they published was very disappointing. But I think that most of the the people who could potentially operate that project or run it would look past the resource and realize that there is, I believe the ground there is. It's very sandy and difficult to drill, but underground there's obviously potential to drill. I think the expectation is the project's a lot better than that resource shows, but right now it's run out of money and they've got to come to the decision of whether they should put more money into it and whether there's a cost benefit of doing that. I think right now it's dead. I think the gold price needs to move for that thing to have merit. Will this happen to other juniors? Well, I can tell you that just about every junior development story that has a quality asset will not have enough money to put their project into production.
And let's move along to gold prices. Tommy, I know you have a couple points for me here regarding them. Now, obviously, it's critical that higher gold prices are important for smaller companies with small margins. What do you see going on with gold moving forward right now in the near term?
I'm pretty excited for gold price right now. Just if you look at the chart in June, there was a bottom 1179, and then again in December there was another bottom at 1181. So I see pretty strong support at that 1180 range, and both in June and in December there was massive pessimism in the market, in the media. People were coming out saying there's absolutely no reason to own gold, but you saw this massive double bottom form over 6 months at 1180. So I think from that point, if you're a gold trader, you put an easy 1180 stop loss on your trades, and you got to consider the fact that the marginal cost of gold production is effectively where the gold price is today. I don't know where it's this morning, but it was 1243 yesterday, and I think the marginal cost of production is 1225 or 1200 or 1250. So the mining companies and gold miners, they've ranged from a time when they make good margins to a time when they don't, and when their earnings multiples are good and when they're bad, and right now they can't make money and the multiples are crap. So I couple that with the massive double bottom, and I see some support there. I don't see a lot of reasons to be negative on gold at this price right now. So I'm optimistic for a higher gold price.
Good stuff, Tommy. Thanks for joining me today.
Good to see you, Alex. Thanks for the call.
And thank you for joining me for this edition of Mining Minutes Wrap-Up. If you have any comments or questions, don't hesitate to contact me at newsfeedback@kitco.com, or you can find me on Twitter at Alex_Létourneau. Have a good one.